All right. The next segment quite is one that we're seeing quite often nowadays. Is actors partnering with studios. I mean, or even not even just actors, just talent.
Yep.
So the most recent one is Timothée Chalamet. He signed a multi-year deal to not only star but to also produce films for Warner Brothers. The deal's similar, probably not in pay wise, but it's similar to what Tom Cruise is doing,
Yep.
and Margot Robbie as well. And I think I saw news earlier today that Ryan Gosling is starting his own production company and pairing with Amazon. So we're starting to see actors branch away from acting and getting more into the nitty gritty of films.
Yep.
So, James, what are your thoughts on this in regards to Timothée Chalamet and my last point of actors branching out from acting?
Yeah, well, I think it's a trend we're just going to start seeing with these kind of heavyweight A-list actors. And both Timothée Chalamet, Tom Cruise, Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, they are all part of that A-list in terms of popularity. And it makes sense for Warner Brothers to lock up Timothée Chalamet in this multi-year deal to star and
definitely.
produce films for them. From my reading and what I know of this contract, he can star and produce films with other companies. It's just that Warner Brothers is the one that gets the first option, the first pick to decide whether to go through it or not. So if they decline, then he can just go off and do it with someone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense to lock up a star of Timothée Chalamet's caliber. I mean, this guy is just incredible. He's probably the best actor of the generation so far. And I mean, like, it depends on how you think of the generation. Like, if you're having like Emma Stone in this generation, then perhaps those actors are a different story.
I think it more comes down to what defines a generation. Is it a decade? Is it 20 years? If it was, let's just go with 10 years for this example, okay? Emma Stone 100% would be of that generation.
I'll say
this generation.
under 30.
Okay.
Under 30, I would say he's probably the best actor. And I don't have all the actors in front of me on a whiteboard or anything, so I could be wrong in that. Feel free to comment who you think is probably better than Timothée Chalamet if there is one. But I would say, yeah, he's definitely done it. He's proven it. He's taken on challenging roles like Call Me By Your Name, and then he's gone on to do stuff like Dune, and which is making big money at the box office. And Wonka made big money at the box office, and that's 2 back-to-back. I think he's like the only actor in the last 4 decades to have 2 top 2 grossing domestic movies within 8 months or something like that. It's ridiculous how good those 2 movies are doing. And Timothée Chalamet is obviously a big draw now because of that. And then, if we want to, elaborate on his star power, him dating Kylie Jenner does add to that. We can dismiss it and laugh at it and meme it, all that stuff, but it does actually add a huge amount of popularity to him. It gives him a ton more exposure just because of the popularity of her and that family as well.
Yeah, I mean, just look at Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I mean, did anyone really know who Travis Kelce was unless an NFL fan before he started dating Taylor Swift? Like, so that's a power of what a big celebrity can do for your own self.
Yeah, and then to answer your question in terms of just we're seeing this trend now in the industry, I don't really know what it means, but I think it's probably more about the actors trying to get a little bit more power. And I don't mean that in a negative way, just more power so they can explore their creative pursuits. Rather than if they're just starring, then they are held to the whims of who's writing it, who's directing it, who is producing it. They don't really have much control to, I guess, navigate their career in the way they want. So allowing or having stars move to more, producer slash actor, I think it allows them to have a little bit more bargaining power to how their role is going to be done, how the movie is going to be, and it allows them to get to a point where they can pursue their roles in the way that they would like to, in the way that they would like to express them, which I think is fine, because to be able to get to a multi-year deal with a studio to star and produce, or just to start your own production company, takes a ton of work, and you need to be really, really good at what you do. some new actor off the LA streets just can't come in and start a production company and star in the biggest movies. You got to earn your way to get to that level. So it makes sense that they're doing that. I mean, Margot Robbie is really doing such a great job with her one. And yeah, I think we're going to see a trend as these mega stars start to come to fruition in terms of their popularity in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. I do like how it pretty much gives control to the actors and in regards to what they can star on, you know, because if they have their own production company, pretty much that's going to be attached to every film.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm a bit cautious, or if that is the case, that I don't like, is that they're not going to go work for a different production company or a different director, you know, because they will just want everything to be kept within their own production company, you know. Say Margot Robbie doesn't want to go work for, this may never happen, this might happen, but, you know, won't go and work for Christopher Nolan because Nolan won't let her have her production company in that title.
Be a part of it, eh?
Yeah. So I've just used it as the example because that's the first two people that I know that have production companies coming across my head right now.
Yeah.
But like that sort of thing, it's sort of like we're not going to see these opportunities of these actors working with great directors or cinematographers or writers, you know, because they are just wanting to only create films for their own production company.
Yeah.
So that's a little thing that I'm a bit worried about, so to speak. But in regards to them going into production, it's an awesome way to move away from acting if they ever get sick of it or if they want a break. So what Margot Robbie is doing right now, she's sick of acting and she wants to learn the more technical side of filmmaking, which is being a producer. So that's what she's focusing on for now, and then eventually she'll come back into acting. So we use this term a lot on this podcast. It's a palate cleanser for these actors and actresses.
For them, yeah. Not for
so
us.
to speak, yeah. But in regards to Timothée Chalamet and Warner Brothers, I think it's just another big win for Warner's at the end of the day. You know, they wrapped up Margot. Now they have Tom Cruise and Timothée Chalamet. You know, Tom Cruise is a couple generations before. Margot Robbie is, let's just say, this generation, and Timothée Chalamet is the next generation. That's 3 generations of star power just locked up for them, where they can create, star, and produce movies for them. So it's awesome on Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers needs a win right now, because their franchises are taking a big L. Godzilla x Kong, New Empire, don't see it.
Rotten Tomatoes stores are out, by the way. Reviews still aren't in, even though our embargo has dropped. So I don't know what's going on now, but I do know it's not that good. But yeah, no, completely agree. In terms of Warner Brothers, I have no idea what they're doing. Like, they make really smart moves by locking up Tom Cruise, locking up Timothée Chalamet, not literally, of course, just into like contracts and stuff. And then they have like all this financial stuff going. They're canceling, certain projects that have been completed just for a little tax cut or something like that, where they can save some
tax write-off or whatever.
Something stupid like that. And then they're just going all down the toilet. I have no idea what they're doing, but amongst all the chaos with Warner Brothers, they can produce absolute gems like Dune Part 2, and then obviously they've lost Christopher Nolan, but they always had those really good directors just always with them. So I've always been a big fan of Warner Brothers and how they've allowed, certain directors and talent to really explore and take risks and do all that kind of stuff. Who knows where it's going now? I'm not particularly fond of the management who runs Warner Brothers, but hopefully these deals that we're seeing can bring some really good films for Warner Brothers.
For sure, yeah.